Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the Essential Zodiac podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia McNulty.
And I'm Audrey Fannin, your producer.
And before we get into our episode about the full moon in Aries, I want to mention that I have a new tarot spread available. The autumn equinox spread is now available to help you navigate this season and to prepare for winter when we go into relaxation and hibernation. You can find the link for the tarot spreads on my welcome page. So just click there and you can click on the autumn equinox spread. Also, October babies out there, now's the time for your solar return. Again, you can find the information on my website. Go to current promotions, which is on the welcome page, and that'll take you to the birthday special. So enough advertising for now, and we're going to get into the full moon in Aries. So that is on October 9th, and it is here to heal. Aries is somewhat volatile. I mean, it is the first sign, the initiator. It's a fire sign. So it has a lot of potent energy, but it still can heal us, but it doesn't come in a neatly wrapped package. This healing comes from reaching like the point of no return, where there's nothing you can do but surrender, hitting the bottom, just reaching the end of your tether. And this is where, when you get there, this is where the healing starts to begin. This kind of energy can see us arrive at the end of our limits. We just can't continue on. We have to make changes because it's more painful for us to stay where we are than to make changes. The changes now don't seem as scary as, maybe the hopeless feeling that we are feeling. So, as I said, Aries is the high energy zodiac sign. We can feel motivated to take action. All right. Now, full moons are emotional to begin with, and those emotions can inspire us to act. We do have to watch and not to be too impulsive. Otherwise, you can rush into something, not be prepared for it. So when we're using this volatile, sometimes unpredictable energy, you want to make sure you have a plan in place so that you take advantage of it, but it doesn't burn you in a way. Also, watch speaking without thinking, because a lot of this energy that we're dealing with right now with the Aries full moon can promote anger. So you want to take a beat. You want to take a breath. We are quicker to get angry when we have Aries energy around us. It's just that quick, volatile fire that can, push us perhaps to say things we really don't mean, but in the heat of the moment, we do. So as a caution, take a breath, walk away, end the conversation before it turns into something that you can't take back. Now, Venus, our planet of love and relationships, is also very highly active under this full moon. So we may see a lot of healing energy triggered by our connections with others. Venus is about our intimate relationships, our friendships, all the relationships and connections that you have in your life. That's Venus's realm. So if we've been masking our true self in any of our relationships, if we've been hiding who we really are, if we've had trouble setting or enforcing boundaries, these issues may come up under this full moon. Essentially, relationships that have been moving you further away from your true self rather than closer to who you really are going to be up for review. All of a sudden, again, it's staying in that same place is more is harder than thinking about moving forward. So whatever comes up under this full moon, it's important to keep in mind that this is the last full moon before the eclipse season begins. This means that if something feels unresolved or if something begins to unravel, you may have to wait until next month's full moon eclipse in Taurus on November 4th to see how it's all going to unfold. So, keep that in mind. It would probably be a really good time to have your journal, Sandy. If you journal, you may have things come up that possibly are confusing or you can't quite figure out. Jot those things down because they may resolve themselves through the month and as we get closer to that full moon in November. And finally, under this full moon, is a perfect triangle configuration known as the Grand Trine, activated by the Sun, Saturn, and Mars. This formation of energy can bring a sense of ease. That Grand Trine is in air signs. The Sun's in Libra, Saturn is in Aquarius, and Mars is in Gemini. So we have air moving around us. Air is cerebral. Air makes us think. So think of it as the universe's way of providing rain to extinguish any fires that have grown out of control that have been activated by that Aries full moon. So there's enough soothing, healing, and sweet energy with this Grand Trine to bring ease and to remind us that life is meant to be both beautiful and messy.
Very nice.
Yes, it is. It's true, It's really true. You have those great days, and then you have those really messy days, but you can always work it out.
What makes a Grand Trine?
It's the configuration of those planets as they orbit. It's a mathematical, they actually form a triangle. If you looked at them on the wheel, they form a perfect triangle. And so with that energy touching, with those planets touching each other like that, the energy is combined. Sometimes when you have Grand Trines like that, it's like too much of a good thing. It's like too much energy. But in this case, it's air, which is a less volatile energy than, say, a fire sign, or even water, because water can be, of course, kicking up a lot of emotions. With air, it's thinking. So maybe you might be overthinking, but, it's a cerebral type of energy. So trines can be helpful if you don't let the energy overwhelm you. So I've got some mantras for us. So from now until the next full moon in Taurus, which is also that eclipse, on November 4th, every morning repeat the following mantras. Now look in the mirror and say these to yourself with conviction, with purpose. Don't just say them to say them. Really believe in what you're saying. So the first one, I am worthy of all the abundance this life has to offer. I'll repeat. I am worthy of all the abundance this life has to offer. I am aware of my personal sovereignty. Again, I am aware of my personal sovereignty. I am courageous. I am courageous. And finally, I act from a place of love for myself. I act from a place of love for myself. So try that, try saying those mantras every day, and it might be a good practice, in between to pick up mantras of your own. Give yourself a pep talk in the morning before you begin your day. So that wraps up this episode. Join us on October 21st when we will be talking about the new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio. You don't want to miss that. Scorpio is a good one. And remember, with astrology, you can chart your life's course.
The Essential Zodiac podcast is published every other Friday. Join us for insights into the moon cycle and astrological events, and learn how you can use their influence to benefit your own life. Visit EssentialZodiac.com to see the Astro Tarot spreads and happy birthday offers that Cindy mentioned in this episode. And while you're there, check out the Patreon link and see how you can help support production of this podcast. We hope you'll subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends. You can find Essential Zodiac on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. This podcast is produced at Muddy Creek Studios.